Shalom, Lieutenant Colonel Scheffler here. I'm standing in Kibbutz Erez, southern Israel, just half a mile away from the Gaza Strip. The 600 people in this community are under constant threat of Hamas terror attacks. We, the Israel Defense Forces, are here to protect them, along with the 65,000 civilians who live in the area and have only 15 seconds to run to a shelter when our sirens go off to alert them of an incoming Hamas rocket attack. We wish the situation was different, and we continue to hope for peace. How did we get here? The UN Partition Plan of 1947 proposed dividing the land into a Jewish and Arab state. We said yes. The Arabs said no and launched a war. Gaza fell under Egyptian rule. In 1967, 5 Arab armies attacked Israel, and we successfully defended ourselves. Gaza came under Israeli control. During this time, there were hundreds of terror attacks emanating from the Gaza Strip. In 2005, Israel unilaterally and fully withdrew from the Gaza Strip. IDF troops oversaw the removal of over 9,000 Israeli civilians from Gaza. Israelis hoped that this would lead to peace. Instead, we got rockets, thousands of rockets. Between 2005 and 2007, the Palestinian Authority ruled over Gaza. In 2007, Hamas brutally ejected the Palestinian Authority from the Gaza Strip, throwing PA officials off of buildings and forcefully taking control. Since its creation, Hamas has called for the destruction of the State of Israel, and the Hamas Charter declares, I quote, "The day of judgment will not come about until Muslims fight Jews and kill them, and it is compulsory that the banner of jihad be raised," end quote. Hamas has fired over thousands of rockets into Israeli territory and launched numerous terrorist attacks, suicide bombings, arson balloons, and drone attacks. But they not only terrorize Israelis, they terrorize their own people. There's no freedom of speech. They execute members of the LGBTQ+ community, and they deliberately use women and children as human shields. Instead of investing in schools and hospitals, they pour millions of dollars each year into building out their terrorist infrastructure. Hamas is internationally recognized as a terrorist organization. They have no interest in making peace with Israel. The Middle East Quartet, that was formed with members from the UN, the European Union, the US, and Russia, set conditions for Hamas to be recognized as the official government of Gaza and to establish the basis for a future peace process. They were called to renounce violence, to recognize previous agreements, and to recognize Israel's right to exist. Hamas' response was no, no, and no. Despite Hamas's ongoing hostility towards Israel, we continue to assist with humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip. During the most recent escalation, in May 2021, Hamas terrorists fired mortar shells towards the Erez crossing and the Kerem Shalom crossing. These crossings are also used for bringing in humanitarian aid. Hamas often prevents humanitarian aid from entering Gaza and steals the money and resources meant for the people of Gaza to promote its terrorist agenda. Today, Hamas continues to launch rockets, arson balloons, and drones towards Israeli civilians. These security fences are here to protect our civilians from any terrorist threats. They're here because they're needed. We will continue to take all necessary measures to protect Israeli civilians from Hamas terrorism. While the IDF works to protect our civilians, we also hope for a more peaceful future, one where all people can live in peace and security.